YAHAWAH Shai, Hashem Rakak Wardash. Double honors to my teachers, the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect who are the house of David, reborn again. And Shalom to the 1/3 Yasharallah, who today are known as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indians, who before losing their true heritage were known as the Israelites of the Holy Bible. In today's lesson, I want to go and touch upon an article I read of the downfall of one of these top witches known as Lady Gaga, who is pretty famous here in Babylon the Great, known as America. Let's go ahead and before I get into the article, I want to go and read a scripture. This is Job 20 and 26. All darkness shall be hid in his secret places. A fire not blown shall consume him. It shall go ill with him that is left in his tabernacle. Now, ultimately it's talking about the nuclear destruction, but the point I wanted to get in here is that all darkness shall be hid in his secret places. You see, America, which is known as Mystery Babylon the Great, one of its foundational power is the power of art magic or dark magic, right? All magic is dark and wicked, right? Whatever you call it, paganism, druids, Kabbalah, all that stuff is wicked. It's all dealing with demons and evil spirits. And Lady Gaga here, she's getting a taste of the downside of dealing with these demons. She's now being plagued by them. And good riddance, man. That's what this devil gets. But let's go and read this article. And I'm going to go ahead and interject here with some details that you should know. Says, Lady Gaga, I regret selling my soul to the Illuminati dark forces. Now, a lot of people get turned off by that term Illuminati, right? Because the devil has worked his art magic of marketing and media control to make Illuminati a key phrase which invokes comedy and basically disillusion to make you think that it's all a joke. But the Illuminati was a real thing. In fact, it still is a real thing, but it's really not known as the Illuminati anymore. Basically, it's Satanism. It's lightly veiled Satanism. Now, when you get into the history timeline, this started about in about the 1700s, when you had this guy called Jacob Frank, who was, for the most part, he was a student of this guy Zebbatai Zevi. Zebbatai Zevi was a so-called Jew. You would know him as an Ashkenazi or a Khazar, you know. But ultimately, this guy was an Amalekite, which is the top tribe of Edom, making him an Edomite, right? His pupil, Jacob Frank, came out. He wrote the Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion. He also kind of went on to be an avid Kabbalist, kind of rocketed that information and knowledge to new heights of wickedness, right? I believe his basically his whole thing was that the more wicked that they can be, it would use up all the bad karma in the world, so that way they would force the Lord to come. After Jacob Frank was around, you had the House of the Rothschild was established, and then during the time when America was created in 1776, across the Atlantic Ocean in Bavaria, Belgium, you had a man in the same year on May 1st, which is why around the world May 1st is celebrated as a holiday for the people, right? Johann Adam Weishaupt founded a corporation known as the Illuminati, right? And from there, they basically pushed all of Zebbatai Zevi and Jacob Frank's teachings, man, of Kabbalism and all basically what the Freemasons and all these Satanists are pushing today, right? That's what the Illuminati ultimately is. Now, let's get back to this article. Pop star Lady Gaga, which again, this woman is a so-called Jew. She would be known as an Edomite in the Bible, the people who are prophesied to go into destruction when the Lord comes back for their wickedness. So again, ultimately, salvation would never have been for this woman. This is her kingdom now, and she just happened to be a double devil, man. You know, a devil just because she's an Edomite and she's naturally wicked, and a double devil just because she excelled in her wickedness and became a witch and propelled the ways of the devil in this kingdom, which I'm about to highlight right now. Pop star Lady Gaga has spoken openly about her membership in the Illuminati. In fact, I'm just going to say Satanist. And the Satanist cult for the first time to say that she regrets joining the secret society. Gaga, a sufferer of the painful fibromyalgia syndrome, which, let's watch this so you can know what it means.
Deeper into what fibromyalgia actually is. Fibromyalgia is a long-term condition that causes pain all over the body. In addition to widespread pain, those with fibromyalgia may also have extreme tiredness, muscle stiffness, difficulty sleeping, problems with mental processes, and irritable bowel syndrome. So, as I'm sure you've gathered, it can be a devastating condition. If you watch Lady Gaga when in pain during her Netflix documentary, you'll have seen how debilitating the pain can be. According to National Health Organization.
And they basically try to go into it talking about how there's no cure, and they believe it's all mental. And Esau just tries to basically categorize it and dismiss it with science, right? But ultimately, when you get down to it, it ultimately is demons on her, man. She's gonna reveal it right now. It says Gaga suffers from a painful fibromyalgia syndrome. Says she believes her long-term illness is a result of her allowing dark forces to manifest themselves in her body. When she sold her soul to the Satanist early in her career, And let's go ahead and read an account about these demons and how they possess people and how they cause pain and suffering, but also give abilities. This is let's jump to Mark 5:1. This is Mark 5:1. And they came over onto the other side of the sea, into the country of the Gadarenes. And when he was come out of the ship, immediately there met him out of the tombs a man with an unclean spirit. So basically this man was possessed with a demon, who had his dwellings among the tombs, right? And notice, and this is one hallmark of these demon or people who are demon possessed. They have to defile their temples so that way a demon can reside in them. This is why you see homeless people who you could just know they have demons on them. They're always dirty, they're shitting their pants, they're pissing themselves. Homosexuals, they're defiling themselves by performing those homosexual acts. You got artists out there, in this case Lady Gaga, performing these sick, disgusting acts of spirit cooking, where she consumes a mixture of feces, sperm, menstrual blood, and other liquids, which I'm not too sure of and stuff like that, but just abominable filth. She brings it into her body, defiling her temple, which allows her to invoke more powerful demons. That's the going understanding from what I've read. Let's continue. And that's why this man here is dwelling amongst the tombs, because like it tells you in the scriptures, touching dead people is a defilable act, which defiles your temple. Verse 4, because that he had been often bound with fetters and chains, and the chains had been plucked asunder by him, and the fetters broken in pieces, neither could any man tame him. You see, so this guy here, just like when people are on drugs, the cops can't they can shoot them with tasers, everything, and the person's still going because it's the power of that demon that's on those people to give them incredible strength, right? So these demons, they give abilities, like in Lady Gaga's example, they give her the ability of fame, talent, and whatnot, man. But again, to do that, it comes all at a cost which we're reading about. Let's continue. And always, night and day, he was in the mountains and in the tombs, crying and cutting himself with stones. You see, these demons, they destroyed their hosts, man. So what's happening with Lady Gaga, as she just said out of her own mouth, she believes the pain that she's going through is because of the demons that she's invited into her body that are now jacking her up. Let's continue on the article. The singer spoke candidly in her upcoming Netflix-produced GAGA 5'2" documentary, which is meant to be a warts and all portrait of the troubled star. However, the final cut appears to be more of a fly-on-the-wall footage montage of rehearsal studio sessions, public appearances, private late-night conversations, medical appointments, and multiple tearful breakdowns. According to the production staff, many of the interview scenes were left on the cutting room floor due to orders from above. And that's right, you see, because these devils that run this industry, they don't want her spilling the beans, right? But that ain't gonna help, because what's happening is that the Lord right now, he's revealing what these devils are doing, from the pedophilia islands to the vast corruption to things like this, right? The Lord is lifting Edom's skirt above his head and showing the world his abominations. One of those abominations being witchcraft and magic. And another thing too, this is all starting to fail, because it tells you here in Wisdom of Solomon 17:7 that magic is being cut off right now. This is Wisdom of Solomon 17:7. As for the illusion of art magic, they were put down, and their vaunting in wisdom was proved with disgrace. For they that promised to drive away terrors and troubles from a sick soul were sick themselves, of fear worthy to be laughed at. And that's what's happening. Lady Gaga right now is being plagued with these demons, because these demons aren't doing what they're being told it to do anymore, man. They're not following the orders, right? And one of those orders is to be hidden, to be not seen by the public, man. That's why these devils were so brazen in what they would do. They would literally be out there at concerts and tell you that they've sold their soul to the devil, and people wouldn't believe them. They thought it was just a joke. But now it's actually coming out, and now they're getting plagued by it. They're not getting any of the benefits. They're just getting all the torment. Let's continue. When describing some of the more interesting scenes that were cut from the final edit, production staff revealed that Gaga recalled meeting with a Catholic priest to discuss undergoing an exorcism to rid her body of the dark spirituality that she invited into her body during satanic rituals early in her career, right? She described how she was first, and let me read this. She described how she was first inducted into the Satanist by donating her soul, which she says took place at a club in New York's Lower East Side after performing a burlesque show in 2006. Gaga described the experience as very real and visceral, not metaphorical at all. So what she's talking about here literally happened, man. She's not using fancy poetic terms or allegories. She's literally telling us what's happened. So let's continue. I had just been on stage. It was a good show. I was high on the love and applause from the crowd. I was outside lighting a cigarette, thinking about scoring some more cocaine. I was aching for more of everything. I just wanted to feel good, feel anything. Then this man, a strangely ageless man in a suit, spoke to me. And he was leaning against the wall, smoking, and he said to me, "I think you've got what it takes. Do you want it?" I asked what it was. I thought he was coming on to me. But he smiled and said, everything, success, fame, riches, power. Do you want it all? And that's exactly what's documented when the Messiah went out to the desert to perform his 40-day fast. Satan himself came to him and offered him all the riches and all the power in the world if he would only bow down and worship him, right? And that, for the most part, happens to everybody when they get to a certain level of success in this world. Be it, it could be individuals. It's happened to me before, but it always comes with a moral, with some sort of moral choice. You got to do something to get something, right? Quid pro or something like that, right? You got to give something to get something, right? So ultimately, these artists here, like Lady Gaga, they got to sell their soul to get fame, right? These athletes, they got to sell their soul. They got to give up their children to certain vile affections, LGBT and all this stuff to get fame. They got to do certain things to get the promises that Satan wants from them, man. Right? But let's go ahead and get back to the story. It says, but he smiled, or Slaki. I looked at him curiously. I couldn't work him out. Then he just stood there and sang one of the songs from my routine earlier. It was otherworldly. I stared at him like he was a dark jewel dredged up from the deepest ocean. I got down on my knees and asked him who I should praise. And I looked him right in the eye and told him I wanted it all. I told him I'd do anything, right? And this devil, she gave up her soul, man. But ultimately, it didn't matter, man. And here she is on her Instagram, trying to repent. But it doesn't matter, man. This devil, she's getting what she ultimately deserves, man. She is one, she was never chosen for salvation, and second, she went double bad and decided to be a witch and push the devil's agenda, which she's already done. So she's gonna get that. But let's continue. It says, before meeting the man she describes as my illuminated prince, again a satanic reference, Gaga had little commercial success or public recognition as a struggling performer who mostly played in dive bars and burlesque clubs and at late night revues. Gaga was able to create the music and achieve everything she had ever dreamed of in exchange for one thing: her soul. Outside the Mercury Lounge in New York City that night, Gaga concluded a deal with the prince and instantly found that success was a cinch. In exchange for her soul, Gaga was able to create the music for which she became famous, with the most well-respected collaborators, producers, and promoters in the business, queuing up to work with the unknown club singer. Within 1 year, she was one of the biggest selling artists on the planet. His promises came true very quickly. At the start, I thought we made a good team, but it wasn't long before I began to suffer. Gaga has fought with conflicting forces, battling for supremacy inside herself for years, and she's frequently at war with herself in the documentary. One side is driven to perform, whilst the other seems to be struggling with dark forces. Gaga has suffered from the physical illness fibromyalgia, a chronic pain condition, for years, which she is the physical manifestation of her fight to get out of the Illuminati-controlled record industry and break her contract with the Dark Prince. But that shit ain't gonna happen. Because why? Because once you sell your soul to the devil, that's it. You're done for. The devil has you, right? And because he's done his job. He tricked you into giving up, whatever righteousness you would have had, which we know this chick didn't have any righteousness. She's an Edomite. But this is another reason why she's not going to be able to do that, because the Lord himself, he's going to disannul that agreement. Let's go and read this. This is Isaiah 28:15. Because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death, and with hell are we at an agreement. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us. For we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehoods have we hid ourselves. Therefore, thus says the Lord God, behold, I lay in Zion a foundation, a stone, a tried stone, a precious cornerstone, a sure foundation. He that believeth shall not make haste. And that right there is referring to the Lord YAHAWAH, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. YAHAWAH meaning He is salvation in Hebrew. That's the Messiah's true name, right? The Messiah is going to help us overcome these dark forces. But let's continue. Verse 17. Here's the point. Judgment also will I lay on the line, the righteousness to the plummet, and the hail shall sweep away the refuge of lies, and the waters shall overflow the hiding place, right? And that's what's happening right now, man. All these secrets that Esau's had and that he's kept in his secret places, are now coming to light because they're being overflowed with the waters, which is the truth, which is this truth of the Bible, man. These are the waters that cleanse you, that baptize people, that are bringing out this truth, man. Let's continue. Verse 18. Here's the main point. And your covenant with death shall be disannulled, and your agreement with hell shall not stand. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, then ye shall be trodden down by it. And that's what's going to happen to Lady Gaga, man. Doesn't matter how much she repents, doesn't matter any of that, man. Doesn't matter if she comes out and she tries to reveal what she's been doing, which is ultimately what she's trying to do, right? But she had at one point she was on a non-malicious path, right? She was just a regular person who was seeking fame, right? But as she said, man, she was going through this fame, and she came out and she bit that apple. She took the deal of the devil, right? So when in Snow White, when that witch is there offering Snow White the apple, that's what this chick did. She took it and bit it, because she thought it was something sweet. Ended up being poisonous, man, right? And what did she have to do for that sweetness? Of all the promises that the devil promised her, she had to worship him. And how did she worship him? By doing shit like this, man. Coming out here promoting the devil, praising him, performing blood rituals in front of people, misleading them, leading them to their utter destruction, defiling her temple, making it appear as if it was just a funny quirk that she had. Do you know how many people this woman has misled? Right here, for example, is a magical ritual called spirit cooking. The thing that I had mentioned earlier, where this person donates their soul to be cooked in this abominable filth made up of semen, menstrual blood, feces, and other abominable filth, I'm sure. And what do? As Lady Gaga is showing right here with that spoon in her hand, and sucking her teeth right now because she's just tasting what that was, along with this other witch, Abramovic, right, who portrays herself as an artist, but ultimately she's a witch who sets all this up, right, along with these other devils. Look at this guy, man, spoon ready for his spoonful of fucking filth. These devils are being revealed for what they do, and to get this power, man. And here's another chilling account from Lady Gaga's staff, man. It says Lady Gaga's hairstylist quits and says she's a devil worshiper that speaks in tongues with a 666 on her scalp, right? After 2 years, Lady Gaga's hairstylist Michael Potter ups and quits, claiming that the singer is a certified devil worshiper. Michael Potter says he left because he couldn't take the way she would stare at him, right? And it wasn't her that was staring at him, man. It was the demons that's inside of her, right? That's the demons that would stare at her, man. After being completely creeped out, he asked Gaga to stop, and she responded by saying that she will eat his children. You see, because these devil worshippers, what they do, man, they literally consume the flesh of children, man. One of the things they do this for is because it's they harvest spinal fluid laced with adrenaline out of these terrified kids. It's known as adrenochrome or adrenochrome, right? It has supposedly it's like the strongest drug that these devils take, and it also rejuvenates their age, I guess you could say. It's like a fountain of youth, right? And remember what she had said, that this guy who approached her at that club, he was strangely ageless, man. Basically showing that that's what most likely what this guy took. But let's read what Michael says here. He says, one day when she was mumbling more than normal. Now notice this, remember that, mumbling, which I found out later was her speaking in tongues. I saw the number 666 on her scalp, and I quickly asked for God to protect me. She rose out of her chair and floated 3 feet above the ground whilst yelling, your God is not here, Michael, nor will he ever be. Now give me some more highlights and trim my bangs, you worthless beep. Right? So take that as you will, man. You know, these demons manifest themselves all the time, right? And it's not only in her, but it's also comes out with these other people, like this other music artist, Lana Del Rey. She's a certified witch, man. She even was out here on February 24th, 2017, calling a conference of witches to put a binding spell on Donald Trump, right? Witches unite to cast binding spell on Trump and followers, man. You know, here she is on her Twitter telling people that they can get ingredients online. You have other actresses out there thinking they're being funny, and you know, like this devil here, Leslie Ann Brandt. You know, she literally speaks in these tongues, these demon tongues, which she's, you know, taught. She reads a script, and I'm sure she thinks it's all in fun, or who knows? She probably knows that this is literally her speaking in demon tongue. But let's listen to what this devil says. And again, this could be the demons manifesting through her. I'm pretty sure they are.
I'm Leslie Ann Brandt, aka Maze on Lucifer. Today I'm going to teach you a few common phrases in Mazakine's demon tongue. You're welcome. First, very useful. What the hell are you doing? Good, right? Anyone up for some torture? I'm bored. Can we skin someone? You have a stupid face. And lastly, love me, pick me, choose me.
See that? It's disgusting, dude. This lady here is gonna be judged for this wickedness that she's doing, man. Just like these other demons here, man, including Lady Gaga. Because Lady Gaga, along with that lady I just showed you, this actress, and people like Lana Del Rey, along with these other women here, they're simply pillars on a system that ultimately lead to idol worship, that helps to seduce and destroy our women into what they are today, man. Show them to be childless, to be horrible in relationships, you know, be glad that they're sluts, right? To not want to be married, right? This is what these people out here are doing, man. They are leading women astray in our world, man. Not only women and men too, right? But that's what these people are doing, including Lady Gaga, man. Now, these demons, like the ones that are on Lady Gaga, these have manifested all over the world. We've just read about what they're doing to Lady Gaga. Many people know them or have experienced them themselves by having these demons that cause sleep paralysis. A lot of people say they wake up feeling there's a heavy spirit on their chest, right? There's a heavy presence on their chest, like it's somebody standing on them, right? And they can't move, they can't get up. Well, what is that? That's freaking demons that are on people, right? And here is an image captured by CCTV of one of these demons, man. right? So this is right here. Let me kind of show you a picture since it's kind of messed up. But apparently this person was in the hospital dying, and they couldn't move. They said that they were paralyzed. And later on, when the CC cameras were checked, because the nurses apparently had seen this figure here, they went to go check what the heck it was. There was nothing in there, but the person was having like a seizure or something, right? And they didn't know what it was. They didn't see the demon themselves, but this was captured on the image, which is what called these nurses into this room, right? Now, other demons that manifest themselves is the spirit of Kali, which is a Hindu goddess of death, man. You know, she's that blue goddess of death that has a necklace of human heads, right? This and it's the elder from Texas, Yashawamba, whose YouTube channel is Sharmoth, but he made a beautiful lesson showing how these demons or these thugs in today's world are really nothing but followers of this death goddess called Kali, right? And the manifestation of Kali are these women who stick out their tongue, man. That's simple. That little thing that these women do that they think is sexy, whatever. That's because they've in their mind has been introduced the idea of this as a sexy thing, man. But what they're doing, they've actually invited the spirit of Kali into them. This is why they tend to be attracted to low life rejects, man. These people are known as thugs because back in the Elamite kingdom, the Thuggees, which were basically cutthroat murderer robbers, they worship this goddess of death, man. That's why these spirits that are in these women are attracted to the spirits in those thugs, man. And here's another video showing a woman who is possessed by demons.
Are you on drugs?
Man, listen.
Tell me what's wrong.
No,
What's wrong?
I was getting hot. I never said that. I don't want to.
Did you call 911?
Yes, and they say they're inside.
Okay, they're coming.
I'm sorry.
Yes, she's not crazy, like she's in drugs. Yes, estuvo seven, se comió.
Ay,
Con Tony, I think she's in drugs.
She has to be on Flocka. Are you on Flocka?
Oh my God!
Yeah, she's on Flocka. It has to be Flocka.
She's bleeding or no?
No bleeding. She just looks like she's on Flocka.
My roommate is in the
Say Flocka. It's Flocka. No one's gonna walk out and get her. Shh. Just tell them to come and hang up.
And then there's this famous other famous picture that came out, I believe, in the 90s. This guy called Joe Martinez. He tells a story about how during his midlife he was on a troubled path. He was a heavy I think alcoholic, smoker, wasn't doing too well in his life. And one day he went to this wedding, and him and his wife took this photo, and he said there was nothing behind him. The table that you see in the background here, he said it was far away from him, but he could not explain what this thing was that was behind him, man. But when you zoom in, look, this is what ultimately was there. This is the demon again that manifested in the photo that was taken. This is the demon that this guy had probably on him, man, that caused him to be cool, to have certain emotional outbreaks, to be dependent on these drugs. These demons are real things, people, right? This image here convinced this man, and it convinced a lot of people. It was so popular that it was going around the early internet, man, because nobody could explain what this was. again, people that were there, they said that they did that there was nothing there that they could explain that this could have been. There was no cake. There was nobody behind him. There was nothing that this could have been, right? So since then, this man has went into Christianity, unfortunately, but ultimately it scared him straight because it let him know that these demons really do exist, that they exist in that fabric which of reality which we cannot see, that these demons operate in, man. And it was so prevalent in our society that it was replicated in a movie called Insidious, right? This just shows you, man, that Hollywood knows what's up, man. It knows that these demons are out there. Lady Gaga definitely knew, and she was trying to use it for her benefit, right? But what does the Bible say what's going to ultimately happen? Let's go ahead and read that in the scripture. I'm going to go ahead and in fact, I'm going to start at 21, but the point is in the last line in 23. This is Revelations 18 and 21. And the mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, Thus with violence shall the great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. And the voice of the harpers, and the musicians, and the pipers, and the trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in thee, and no craftsman of whatsoever craft he be shall be found any more in thee, and the sound of the millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee, and the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by the sorceries were all nations deceived. So ultimately, that is what Lady Gaga and all these other Chaldeans, these witches, these people who practice the dark arts out there have to look forward to, man. You know, it's in the back. It's in the back of the Bible, man. It's at the very end. This is where we're at right now, people. We are at the end of the Bible, living out the last days of the last days, right? So, you know, hopefully this video was edifying. Hopefully this lesson, you know, shows a lot of you out there, gives you a bit more, you know, spiritual wisdom when it comes to dealing with these demons. You know, these people out there, they may be, you know, riding high on the hog right now, but pretty soon they're gonna be trodden down like the mire of the streets, man. And because these demons that they call on their power, they're gonna pretty soon turn on them, or they're gonna just disappear, right? You're already starting to see the curses falling on Esau, and it's beautiful, man. I hope Lady Gaga goes down in torment and she is destroyed because of all the wickedness she's done, man. You know, so Kahala YAHAWAH Shem Yahushai, the water YAHAWAH Shem Yahushai, for bringing down a witch like her, you know, and Baba Kasha continue to plague that witch with continual suffering and pain, and do not let up. Baba Kasha YAHAWAH Shem Yahushai, in the name of your son Yahweh Shai, let it be so. So with all that, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakal Kodash. Double honors to my teachers, the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect. Shalom.